In this presentation, we will learn a little bit about working with PaintShop Pro and learning a little bit about the workspace within PaintShop Pro and how to control and open and work with many of the different menu options. The workspace, when we look at PaintShop Pro photo user interface, it includes several different areas. Several of the items that you should become familiar with are the menu bar, which is located along the top of the work area. It is very similar to many other Windows programs in terms of the menu options. You will have tools such as File, Edit, View, and then you will also have some other menu options that would be related to working with photos or digital images. Additionally, some other areas that you should become familiar with are the toolbars, such as the standard toolbar that is normally located at the very top right underneath the menu, and as well as the tool option palette that will show up based on the tool selection that you select from the toolbar palette. Below that, to the right-hand side, there is a palette known as the Learning Center, which is a guide for guiding you through and making use of the various tools that are available. And additionally, you have areas for displaying images that you might work with in your work area, as well as the status bar that will give you information about the types of images that you are working with as far as the image size and image type that you would be using. The palette area is one key area that you want to become familiar with. Within this particular area, if you were to go to the View menu, you would notice that you have an area known as Palettes. And when we select the palette link, you will see that there are a whole series of different types of palettes that can appear on your screen. These are options that you can turn on or off depending upon the types of work you're trying to accomplish. Some of the different palettes that you have are tools such as the Learning Center, which I mentioned earlier, which guides you through a series of steps. Tools such as the organizer and photo tray to allow you to select the different photos and images you might want to work with. Tool options to set some of the different values for working with some of the different tools, materials, layers, history, histogram, brush variants, mixture, and subscript output. And these are all different layers that allow you to manage and work with different areas of the program. As you become more familiar with PaintShop Pro as we go through this course, you'll get a better understanding of the options and how many of these different palettes would be used to accomplish various tasks. The Learning Center palette, as I mentioned, is one area that I will focus on initially because in beginning to work with PaintShop Pro, some things that you'll want to be aware of. And again, turning this on makes it much easier to do and complete many of the tasks. You'll notice that if you go to the main menu for the Learning Center, it has suggestive areas that you might want to use. If you wanted to bring a photo into PaintShop Pro to work with, if you wanted to do adjustments to a photo or retouch a photo, if you wanted to add things such as text or add some type of artistic effect. And again, once we make a selection, as an example, in the second image that we have there, we can see the adjustment toolbar. And within adjustment, it gives us a series of options that we might use for making modifications to a photograph. And as we make those selections, then it would bring up whatever particular tool or window that we're working with. Also, on the View menu, above palettes is an option known as toolbars. Toolbars are the bars that normally are located along the top of the screen right underneath the menu. We have several different types of toolbars that we can turn on or turn off depending upon what we're working on in the photo. We can do things such as turn on our artistic effects, tools for working with or enhancing photos. If we wanted to do a series of commands that we might want to rerun on other photographs, we can create scripts. Also, we have a tools menu which basically allows us to display the tools for painting, drawing, cropping, and working with text, as well as a web menu for creating web-based pages. So again, these are all toolbars. You want to become familiar with where those are located and a little bit have basic understanding of how these various tools would work. The toolbar, as you notice here, is located within the menu right next to the Learning Center, and it gives us a list of tools. If we were to point on those particular tools within PaintShop Pro, you would notice that it would tell you some of the different options. Also, you should notice that some of the diagrams or icons have little triangles beside them. This indicates that there are multiple tools other than just the one tool that would be selected at that point. So, as an example, if I were to select something like the pen, or the paintbrush, we would notice that there would be multiple or other tools that we would have to work with other than just the paintbrush tool. Some other things that you want to be aware of also within PaintShop Pro, it is very customizable. If you were to go to the File menu and select Preferences, you would see that there are many different types of preferences that you can set to customize the software to your needs. If you were to select settings such as the General Program Preferences, you can come in and make many different modifications. As an example, if we wanted to customize things such as our toolbars, if we wanted to customize our file menu or menus, such as our file menu or our edit menu, to add various tools to those menus, we can go within our customization and add these various tools. So again, some of the things that you want to get out of this very first lesson are to become familiar with the workspace, become familiar with the different terminology as to what the various tools are that you will be working with throughout this particular course.